namaste, sat sri akal, Jai Gurudev. Thank you for joining us on Sada Apna show, Love, Laugh and Live.
प्यार करो हंसो ते जुग जुग जियो वाला शो शुरू करने तो पहला कहना है आज को जीना है तो ऐसे जिए आज को जीना है तो ऐसे जिए हर सोच में प्यार शांत में खुशबू आवे. So let's live our lives with these beautiful thoughts and actions that create a joyful fragrance in all areas in our lives. So I'm Dav and I'm a spiritual life coach, and I'm here to spend this lovely time with you all and sharing our lovely inspiration and stories with you. And this is my lovely co-host Gurdial.
Hi. So hi, my name is Gurdial Garcha. I'm a resilience and empowerment coach and feel very blessed to be here to do our Love, Laugh and Live show. So Dav, what are we going to be discussing today?
So today's topic is all about self-abandonment and insecurity and how they're both connected, and we will explain the best way we can and the root cause of this insecurity, self-abandonment, and how it plays out through all our relationships, not just with people but with relationships with money and with health. So I'm going to explain very briefly a little bit about that self-abandonment and insecurity usually stems from our childhood, the first 7 years of our lives. So the child's brain mind is like a sponge, anything, it learns and its behavior and how people interact with them, and so it becomes either confident, it becomes not confident, or it loses its self-esteem. So it's just a very childhood programming that we've learned from a young age that plays out from the rest of our lives. And what you must remember, the Bali dunya is an outer, it's like a mirror, so it's reflected back to us as whatever's happening inside of us, whatever we believed as a young child, that is always going to mirror back to us. So this is what I just quickly needed to mention first before we really get into this. And so I need to ask Gurdial here, so what does self-abandonment looks like in children and in adults?
Well, I think self-abandonment it's just about not feeling special, not feeling important enough within that relationship as a child. So you just want to be loved, really, and it's when you're not getting that attention that whole kind of self-abandonment or insecurity starts to kind of grow as we become adults as well. And sometimes it can be criticism, comparing you to other siblings, it can be to other people, and when you're being criticized then you don't feel good enough, and so you're so low self-esteem and feeling that you're not being heard, you're being abandoned just by not being able to express how you feel and think. So you kind of like a flower that wants to open, but you're kind of shrinking, just as in the form of a child from a small young age. So and you're constantly seeking validation, and and if you just want to kind of think that, well, I don't want to be a burden to my parents, so I will do whatever I need to do in order to make them happy. So just by doing that, you're neglecting yourself, you're rejecting who you are and the person that you are. So yeah, that's what I think it is.
So a simple thing like the mom and dad are busy and you've made a young child 4 or 5 years old, he's made something very special and it wants to show to his parents, look mom, ma ki banaya, and the mom's so tired and exhausted, kam to aaya, and she just goes, look, meko time nahi hega, main tang na kar, something like that. Instantly a child there will feel like, I've been rejected, my needs are not important. But at the end of the day, a child wants to be loved so much, and I think that, okay, I don't want to be a bad girl, I don't want to be a bad boy, I just want to be loved by my mommy, so I'll put my needs to one side, and what can I do to make my mommy feel better, what can I do to make my mom feel not so tired and angry with me. So it starts to learn to just please mommy, daddy, starts rejecting its own needs and requirements. So that's like I said, the first 7 years of a child is like a sponge. It will learn quickly how to survive and how to live throughout the rest of its life, just in order to be loved and accepted. And And tantrums. Why do children have tantrums?
It's just attention seeking, isn't it? So if they're being good and they're not being noticed, then all of a sudden that same very good child can then have a tantrum, because at least if you're being naughty, because what they say is any attention is better than no attention. So the child will crave attention, and if they're getting it just by being quiet and getting on with things, they're not getting any attention. So they think, I'm going to be really naughty. At least that way my parents will look at me, talk to me, praise me, or say something, rather than just completely ignoring me.
That's right, yeah. And I think at the end of the day, it's just seeking validation, because it's already a child starting to feel worthless, useless, not good enough, not important, not loved, and this starts eventually start creating feelings of jealousy and envy and all that sort of stuff. But a child would go to any extent just to please the mother, to the point thinking, I will not bother or be a burden to my parents with my needs, I'll just sort of like push them away. And so when a child's needs are not met and starts to feel incomplete and not whole, it grows up being a chaser, thinking I'll have to, chase other people, and in order to fulfill their needs, becomes a very needy person. So in a way it learns that I can only get validation, approval from others, and that will make me whole and complete. I don't know how to become whole and complete in myself. It's learned that by doing everything for everybody else, then I can feel whole and complete. So we just want to discuss the 10 symptoms of insecurity and self-abandonment, because that will give a really good idea to our viewers how it looks like.
So this is where we were saying, when you feel like you have to say yes when really you want to say no. And we've both discussed examples of this. Can you think of something where in that situation?
I used to do a lot of this. Program and I'm so tired, and I really do not feel like going, and I do want to do something else instead as well, even though I'm tired, but I still end up saying yes. I used to do that because I was afraid that if I say no, I'll upset them, offend them, I'm going to miss out on something, and they might talk about me, I need this and that. So I self-abandoned myself, my needs, just to the fear of upsetting somebody else. And we do this, so many of us do this.
I mean, I was thinking of the example where, when you're unmarried and you're with your original family, you've got to kind of conform to whatever makes them happy. And then they say to you, well, you're married now you've got to make them happy. So there never comes a time when you're actually, you're never, so you're always abandoning yourself, really, because you're never told to celebrate who you are. You're told to fit in with other people constantly. So really, especially when you're newly married, you want everyone to like you, so you don't want to say or do anything that's going to upset anybody. So you really fall into that trap of never being able to say no. So I think that's a really difficult one, especially when you first get married. You kind of lose your own personality, don't you?
And we do this, you're aware of this, as a lot of us say, too scared to say no, because but then the moment we do allow ourselves to say yes, we are actually honouring ourselves. So the second one we thought was a good one. You never express how you truly feel or think.
Yeah, because we've all got our own individual personality, but sometimes we're scared of letting the real person show, so you might just follow what everybody else is saying just to fit in. And this is very common with very young children. When they start school, they'll kind of get into the crowd but not show up too much, because they just want to fit in and be liked and have a friend and all those kind of things.
And then, like you said, we grew up in an environment where thinking the adults that we know better, we lived all our lives, your thoughts really don't matter, listen to me, and other people's opinions matter more. So, and the moment you sort of the other people's opinions matter more, you're self-abandoning and going to a place of insecurity. So that happens quite often as well.
And the next one's like, you settle for less than you deserve. And I mean, this is in any relationship, isn't it, where you feel that somebody's not speaking to you in a respectful way or stuff like that, but you just condone it, you accept it, and you know that it's wrong, and you know that it doesn't matter who the person is, when somebody's being unkind to you and you just allow it, and that's like the biggest form of self-abandonment, but it takes courage and confidence to kind of slowly build yourself up to a point where you can say something.
But you allow yourself to be mistreated because the fear of being rejected and abandoned outweighs, you know, and then you obviously find yourself in a situation thinking, well, I'm afraid of being alone, so I'd rather just settle for this situation, this relationship. I know in a job situation, like, I know I've got better skills than the other person, and I know I'm worthy of being paid a lot more, but you know, the fear of not getting a job, or might get fired or something, but then you find yourself, you just settle for less. Look, at least I got the job at the end of the day, you say, Hannah, but you know you deserve better. So that's a good one, isn't it? And that happens.
And this is a really good one, doing what you don't want to do just to please others. So, and this is where I really like this one, because this is where people say FOMO, fear of missing out. So there may be like a family function, or, you know, friends all going out together, and you really don't want to go out. It's not your thing, but you go because you don't want to be left out of having that discussion the next day and not being part of, you know, the general crowd. So you will abandon yourself in order to please everybody else. And I mean, if you think about programs, Love Island or something like that, you know, where everybody's talking about it, and if you're not watching it, even though you absolutely hate that program, but you'll watch it just so that you can be part of the conversation. So that's a really good one.
And another good example, like just vaccinations ho rahe sige, the COVID, you know, it's just following the crowd, thinking, well, everybody's doing it, then I should do it. But some people will think, but in my body I don't feel I want to do it, but everybody's doing it, that means I'm stupid for not doing it. It's just about following the crowd and not listening, and self-abandoning your own inner intuition and gut feeling. We do a lot of that, you know.
And that's where you're going to be judged. So if you're in a crowd and you're the only one that hasn't had it done, you know that people are going to be saying not very nice things to you. And for an easy life, you're just going to go along with it, even though the core of you doesn't really agree with it.
Exactly, And this one, fear motivates all our decisions and actions. So, I mean, for me, this one, I learned a lot about this years ago, how fear controls all our behaviors, and it's actually very hardwired behavior. It's like a primal fear. So think about us when we used to be in the animal instinct, how we used to think that, you know, if you imagine fear of being alone, out of the pack. If you're not in the pack, in the animal pack, and you're on your own, there's fear of death, being attacked if you're on your own. So that's why we find ourselves in situations that we allow ourselves to be in a situation, and even that situation not healthy, but the fear of being rejected and abandoned, it outweighs more. So that's what really plays out quite a bit.
And I think that can lead to low self-esteem, you know, insecurity in itself. Just being scared of being alone in any situation, it kind of disempowers you, and it makes you feel that without being a part of any crowd or organisation or stuff like that, you are disempowering yourself, you are abandoning yourself, because you're not choosing yourself over others.
But we're just allowing our program, a hardwired program, you know, just taking over and making us behave in ways that we shouldn't behave, really. Okay, and number 7.
This is numbing out, and this is where we talk about, you know, the things that we do to distract our own self-abandonment or insecurities. And this is where you might go to work and you may not enjoy your job or your family or anything, and this is where you're choosing other stuff which you're, you know, taking. Could be alcohol, could be drugs, shopping, watching mindless TV, you know, and this takes you away from how you really feel about yourself. So when you know that you're consciously not taking care of yourself, you're abandoning your own needs, you will use a distraction in order to kind of numb it so that you don't have to feel that feeling.
So in other words, you can say, like, our bodies is always giving us signs and signals, and we abandon them because we don't want to feel the intensity of it. And the way to abandon them is to go into some form of addiction, like you say, like watching too much TV or shopping or drugs or whatever.
Overeating
alcohol,
well.
Anything. It's just the way we're abandoning what we really need to address. So there's a lot that happens on an everyday basis to a lot of us. I mean, I find myself like that I know something's coming up for me. I know somewhere part of me I'm rejecting myself to deal with something, and I think I can't deal with this, so I'll go, oh, let me just go watch a really funny program, or I don't want to deal with this right now. So that's self-abandonment, but something needed to be addressed.
But you know it needs to be addressed, but what you're doing is you're just putting it off. But it's still there in the back of your mind.
That's
you know
right,
that whatever's happened or something's upset you, you need to address it, but you're using other ways to just kind of push it to the back until it really, really kind of shows up. The next one, which I really resonate with, is putting yourself last on the list of needs, your wants, desires, putting somebody else on a pedestal, devaluing yourself. And I think this is really quite apparent within a family where you're so busy making sure everybody else's needs are fulfilled. You can go a whole 24 hours or even longer than that where you haven't done any kind of self-care or taking care of yourself. So you fully 100% 24 hours in a 24-hour day, you've completely abandoned your own wants and desires, which I think is really quite sad, because that shouldn't be happening, really.
It's sad, but at the same time that's become normal. And I think this is the only way of me functioning and way of being accepted and liked by everyone. And then we go into this givers pattern, feeders and givers, because I feel like the more I'm giving, the more I'll be loved and respected, and people would appreciate me more. But like I said, the world out there is a mirror. So when we're not bothering about ourselves, not giving to ourselves, that will eventually mirror back to us. It always does. So we can give as much as we want to other people, but the outer world will reflect back to us the relationship we have with ourselves. How much do we give to ourselves? If we're giving ourselves nothing, they will also eventually will not give us nothing, because us are the mirrors here. So we have to understand that the outer world will show us exactly the relationship we have with ourselves. So once we start giving to ourselves, then they will start giving to us. And
also with that, there's expectations. So when you're constantly giving to somebody, there's a part of you that feels resentful if you're not getting anything back. So that's one of the lower emotions, where you've got to understand, if you're giving something from a pure heart, you're giving it just because you want to make somebody happy. But if you're giving it with the understanding that you're going to get something back, then that isn't really giving. That's really just abandoning yourself, because you're so busy giving to other people, but you're really unhappy, in other words, really, just by abandoning yourself.
Some people think I give because I love them, and they mean so much to me, and no, really, it's the opposite of love. It's fear. Giving out of fear like, if I don't give, maybe they won't like me anymore, maybe they don't want me, maybe they'll get bored of me, maybe they'll just one day think that I don't want you in my life anymore. We give out of fear, not out of love. But when you give out of love, we don't want anything in return.
I mean, the number 8, we're talking about self-judgment. This is where there's negative self-critical talk. I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, and this is something that's running in the background.
And it's got in a conversation, that we're constantly having that. Oh, I should have tried harder, my boss silly and stupid, and then we always self-abandoning. As soon as we have that sort of negative conversation we have with ourselves, we're self-abandoning the true nature of who we are. The true nature of who we are is love and peace and harmony and compassion. And the moment we start doing self-critical talk, when we're judging ourselves not being good enough, not being smart enough, not intelligent enough, not pretty, attractive enough, we've gone against self-rejected ourselves and gone to self-abandonment again.
And this is, and number 9 is in your head instead of being in your body. And this is where you ruminate and you're just kind of trying to get validation from outside. And you're just not happy with who you are. Rather than being in your body, where you can feel all the feelings of trying to make other people happy, and that's not what you really want to do, and it's all about honouring who you are.
So when we constantly ruminating, sochi jane, oh na edda hoya, fir edda hoya, I shouldn't have said that, onne edda kehna nahi chahiye siga. We get too much in the head, and ignoring. So we're self-abandoning now. The body's giving us. It's like the body is like the subconscious mind, like the higher consciousness, giving us signs that if I'm starting to feel uneasy and tight, and feeling very, very uncomfortable in myself, that's telling me signs what that I'm ruminating, doing my barba sochi jane, that is not the truth. Because if it was the truth, I won't be feeling tight and uneasy and anxiety or panicky.
Yeah.
That's when we ignoring and self-abandoning the body. With too much in the mind, no, we need to go into the body. If something happens that is not to our pleasing, then listen to the body. What's the body telling you? Because if that was true, then the body will be feeling relaxed and light. If it's not the true what I'm thinking about, the body's telling you by through feeling heaviness.
Yeah, yeah. And the last one is making other people feel responsible for your feelings. You know, everything that's happening to me is somebody else's fault, so everything that's happening is external. So this is where we've got to acknowledge that what is happening to us is our choice. We can't lay blame on other people and think that what's happening with me, I can just put it onto somebody else.
Yeah.
Because really everything is always about having a choice, and it's really about being uncomfortable and allowing ourselves to feel those feelings so that we can actually start looking at what's actually not working in order to honour what we are, who we are.
Yeah.
And then, you know, try and feel better about what's going on. And it's just that saying where you say, you know, we can't expect other people to make us happy. We've got to do things that make us happy by honouring all the things that we want to kind of do and feel.
I think because it's another pattern that we started from a young age, thinking that
people pleasing.
Yeah, people pleasers. That I'm learned to fulfill everybody else's needs. So in a way that you do have the desire that everybody else should fulfill our needs, and then we go into that pattern of, you know, you make the other people responsible for what you feel, but the moment we give somebody else the responsibility of how they should make us feel, we're giving our power away to them.
Yeah.
We made ourselves vulnerable, weak, insecure, and we self-abandoned our own responsibility of, no, it's my responsibility to how I want to feel in this situation. I can feel sad, or I can feel happy, or I can feel it's okay, and whatever is coming up for me. So I always ask myself that question: what is a me program or memory or story that I've holding on to so tight that's created this situation? Because I'm responsible for everything that's happening out there, whatever program that's running. So now it's my opportunity through this situation to change it. So I'm going to take that responsibility on myself, because I am the creator of my reality.
Yeah, so that's all the symptoms, but we're just going to talk about the emotional symptoms of insecurity and self-abandonment. So these are the triggers and the indicators that come up within your body and your mind that are telling you something's not quite right and you're really not feeling good about what's happening. So it's anxiety, depression, exhaustion, chronic illness, jealousy, pains, envy, anger,
disappointment, resentment, bitterness, all of this. So this is really good to have this awareness, because once you start feeling any of this, then you know you've gone to self-abandonment and childhood programs playing out in all areas in our lives. So this has been good for us because we've learned to sort of understand this. So instead of taking attention away from whatever made us feel this, okay, where did this start from?
So now we've got something quite special for you, and really hope you appreciate it. So we've got two characters that we're going to be bringing in today. It's the Drani Jatani. So Dav is the Drani and she's going to be known as Lajo, and I'm the Jatani and I'm going to be known as Pammi. So we're going to be playing out an insecure scenario. So see what you can pick up while we're doing this. So I hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
So there you go.
So remember, I'm Lajo. So I'm going to be the insecure Lajo today, okay? For now, for this first bit, okay? Yeah. So, okay. So I'm going to walk in now, okay? Hello, Pammi. Pammi, look. I'm at my friend's 25th birthday party and I'm so excited and I bought this lovely new dress. What do you think, Pammi?
हाँ बाकी जाना कित्थे चलनी है
मैं दस्सिया सीगा मेरे फ्रेंड दी 25th birthday party मैंने पिछले हफ्ते मैं तुहानू दिखा लिया सी महा पाना सीगा
बड़ी बन ठान के चली हैं मेरे तो पसंद नहीं तेरे कपड़े पाए
पर पम्मी मैं पिछले हफ्ते तुहानू दिखा लिया सीगा तुसी कहंदे ठीक है उदों तुसी कुछ नहीं किया हुण की हो गया
उदों मेरे ऐनकां नहीं सी लगियां, नाले मेरा सिर दुखदा सी, नाले मैं पट्टी बन्नी सी, ते नोटिस नहीं किया?
पता नहीं मेरे को गलती होगी, मैं तो लगता सी थोड़ा पसंद सीगा, फिर मैं तो अपने फ्रेंडा मैं हुणी फोटो भेजी सी, तो कहते बहुत नाइस लगता मेरी ड्रेस।
पहला अपनी शक्ल तो देख शीशे दे विच, ना तेरा मूँह ना तेरी सेहत, आ कपड़े माड़े मोटे भी नहीं जचदे तैनूं।
पर मम्मी टाइट फिटिंग, बिकॉज मेरे फ्रेंड्स कहते स्टाइल ही इदा दा फिटिंग होनी चाहिए, खुले वाला नहीं है। मैं पता मैं पहला खुले वाले पाती सी कि, पर वो कहते से टाइट फिटिंग वाला लुक्स नाइस, अज का फैशन है।
फ्रेंडा तो इदां दियां हुंदियां आ, जे तेरी सेहत झोटे वर्गी, उन्हें तो कहना ही है भी सोहना सोहना लगता जिद्दां भी हैगी आ, उन्हें थोड़ा असली गल दसनी है। मैं तेनू सच सच दसदी हाँ, तेनू ये कपड़े नहीं सजदे, नहीं सजदे, नहीं सजदे, ना तेरी शक्ल चजदी है ना तेरी सेहत। हाँ तू इदा कर, तू कपड़े जाके बदलिया।
पर मेरे को 10 मिनट है, हम मैं क्यों टाइम नहीं है मैंने बदलना।
10 मिनट बहुत आ, कोई सीधा सादा कोई कपड़े कोई चज दे जाके पा के आ, टाइम हैगा आ।
ओके फिर मैं जाके बदल लेंदी हाँ। ओके
चंगा होया, कहे लग गए छेती छेती।
There we are. So that's the first scene, and Laju Balai खुश होके, because she was excited and she thought पम्मी खुश होगी because पिछले हफ्ते दिखा लिया सी, पर पम्मी apparently उहदा ध्यान नहीं दिता चंगी तरह, and but yeah, I felt very insecure when you said to me, especially about my appearance and my rang and everything, that really got to me. And I just suddenly felt just shut in, crushed and deflated, that I was so excited, I really was. It's my friend's birthday, I showed her the pictures, they only bought pasan se my friend I know, but your comment, how you said it, the way you said it, the way you looked at me, is that look actually was more painful than your words actually. As soon as you gave me that look, it reminded me from a very young age, the look had more power, penetration in me to make me feel like I was useless. I mean, I can't make my own decision. Your opinions obviously had that much impact on me that whatever I was addressing, it didn't make any difference. I really felt quite crap. Yeah.
Well, I felt really pleased about that, because my insecurity in this situation was I felt very threatened by you. You know, I'm 20 years older than you and I feel like an old frump. So I'm playing the role of somebody who's very dominating, who wants to crush your personality as well as your looks, make you feel insecure, because I feel insecure about who I am. So मेरा मतलब सीगा भी मैं जे तेनू रोब दे नाल मैं कहंदी हां भी तेरे कपड़े चज दे नहीं, इदां नहीं, then तुम ही थोड़े के जे थल्ले नु हो जाओगे, so then I've got more power. So, but I'm insecure क्योंकि जब मैं छोटी होंदी सी मैनू नहीं सी कदे किसी ने कहा कि मैं नाइस लगदी हाँ, सोहनी लगदी हाँ, मैनू भी इदा कि असी तेरा रंग पक्का आ, तू मोटी हाँ, तेनू आ नहीं सजदा. So I'm doing how I was treated as a child.
Yeah, this is funny. Even though she acting कर रही सी क्या, but I could still feel it. I could feel it. I could feel suddenly I was getting small and shrinking, and I really felt like there's something wrong with me. That my opinion, my style, you know, it didn't matter. But what you're saying, it was so much force that I had to hear it. I had to believe you, even though my friends sare mainu keh rahe si nice like that, but because you're someone that's like an adult
matriarch
figure, and also I grew up with people who started telling me what's wrong and what's right for me. So I became into a pattern that whatever you're saying, I had to believe it. It became an automatic thing. So I didn't have the courage to say no. I was just, so it's easier just for me, my jaake kapde badal leni hai. Even though time we nahi sika, I would just go find something good prana and put it on, hai na?
So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the same scenario. I'm going to play the same character, but Lajo is going to be a secure person, confident person. So let's just see what you think about this play.
Okay, so I'm coming down. I'm coming down. Hi, Pammi. Look, I'm ready. I'm challi my friend's 25th birthday party, and oh my God, I'm so excited. I've got to wear my lovely new necklace and my dress. And what do you think?
हाँ, कपड़े पाके जाने हैं. अपनी सेहत भी देखी है, मुंह दे विच शक्ल देखी है अपनी.
अच्छा,
कपड़े फसे पे या तेरे.
आजकल दा स्टाइल है प्रॉपर फिटिंग मैं फ्रेंड्स ने हुनी दिखा ले दे लव्ड इट उन्होंने भी सेम पाया सी सारे ने इकट्ठियां ने पिछले हफ्ते वी वेंट शॉपिंग वी बोथ देम टुगेदर
मेरे नहीं पसंद माड़े मोटे भी नहीं पसंद अब तेरा रंग भी पक्का तेरी सेहत भी भारी है ये कपड़े माड़े मोटे भी नहीं जचदे तैनूं
रंग लुक मैं पिछले हफ्ते मैं टैन बाद धुप च बैठी सी टैन कहंदे टैन होया मेरे
टैन मैनूं तो कोई पता नहीं टैन दा
Mummy, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਾ ਕਰੋ you know I'm happy I like it and my friends like it you know what ਜੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਵੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਵੇ but I'm happy ਮੈਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹਾਂ I love what I'm wearing and I'm enjoying wearing it
मेरा ख्याल इदा है भी तू कपड़े जाके बदलिया कोई चज के कपड़े पाया करके मेरे नहीं माड़े मोटे पसंद
पम्मी you know what मैं नहीं बदलने कपड़े because मैं swear the end चाह दे नाल पाया है ना मैं so excited to wear this I'm going to go like this and for me I think you should get one of these थोड़े बहुत nice लगेगा so try करके देखो ना you feel good in yourself
रहने दे तू बस कर कोई नहीं ऐदा कर तू जा जिद्दां मर्जी कर नहीं सुननी ना सुन मैनू ना गां दिखानी अपने कपड़े मेरे नहीं पसंद
ओके पम्मी मैं जा रही हूँ मैं फोटो भेजूंगी बाय
जा So this is a situation where Pammi is now feeling a little bit crushed because Lajo is feeling very confident in what she's wearing. So you tell me how you felt in that situation.
Oh my God, I felt really good. I didn't feel it at all sort of like there's something wrong with me, my style. I felt very confident and I felt even though you were saying quite harsh words and some things were quite sort of very offensive, but I did not actually feel the pain, the hurt around it because I felt so confident in myself. Prani Lajosi, she really felt it. She really felt what you're saying was true. So this time Lajo couldn't see the truth in what you were saying and she felt the truth in her own being that I actually really enjoy wearing this and know I'm going to change because you know I'm just going to go like this and regardless of what my friends or the whole world thinks I feel good.
And that's the real beauty, isn't it? Being confident in what you're wearing. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're happy with what you're wearing and the way you look and your colour, your weight or whatever it is. As long as when you're walking out the door you're happy, then that's all that matters. Now the way Pammi's feeling, she's looking at you and she's feeling jealous, envious and she really wants to try and crush you, but that's not happening since she can see that you've changed because over time you've thought I'm not going to allow this person to dictate to me what I should wear, how I should wear it, and all these other things. But then Pammi's also thinking, I want to be like you. So then what's happening now is that Pammi's got to look within herself and look at why she's being the way she is, if she wants to change and make herself feel good. So she's got to do some inner work and, I don't know, kind of look at you as somebody that she can think, well, I can look good as well if I want to, but I'm going to have to make some effort towards myself and not neglect myself and not feel jealous and envious and resentful of you, but look at my own inner beauty and work on that.
And I think the body language gives it away because you notice Bella when the other insecure Lajo, she started looking down and she couldn't have the courage to look up because she felt so insignificant and small. But this time I was, come tell me how you feel because I feel really good about myself. And this makes a person very attractive and people like being around people.
People like confident
confidence.
people.
And it's not about being self-pride. People get that confused. It's not, it's actually feeling worthy and confident and you are respecting your being but it's not to put other people down because if I wanted to put you down I could have said could have got angry with you or anything but I didn't want to invest in you being angry because that was going to backfire on me. I just wanted to feel happy. I choose to feel happy and not to let your negative comments bring me down. Because that was what my intention was to bring me down because if you did bring me down you won and you felt uplifted but I noticed that when I was sort of like set up like this you sort of went back
because I'm feeling a little bit intimidated by your confidence because in the previous scene, in the insecure one, I felt powerful. But then on this one, the tables have completely turned. But then it's good because it shows me that with your confidence, I want to have some of that.
Yeah.
But what do I do? Do I carry on being a jealous, insecure, resentful person, or do I, and this is what we all need to kind of look at, or do I work on myself so that I can feel happier with who I am, accept myself for who I am, rather than looking at you and spending the rest of my life feeling jealous and inadequate, or all those negative things where I'm abandoning who I am, because I have a lot to celebrate of my own, but because I'm so busy looking at you, and that's like the same as gossipers and things like that, because you're so busy looking at the outside world, you're not actually looking to improve who you are in order to make yourself happier.
But like I said, if Lajo could change, Lajo, the insecure Lajo, how long was she on spend rest of her life just feeling small and not being strong enough to, you know, express her own opinions and honouring them? Or she decided to enough is enough. It's when you get enough, you know, like, because when Lajo will have kids and everything, does she want to be seen in front of her kids as well? But Janice Samne, that she's not a strong mother.
That does happen.
You know, so in that way I think, you know, I don't want my children to see me that I'm just insecure and weak. I want to show my children like, no, we're here to honour ourselves and be strong and brave enough and to really express what you feel. And so Lajo decided she wanted to, you know, go down that path, and which we'll share with you soon, that the things that we can do to change and break free from that self-abandonment and insecurity. And when Lajo started doing that, she changed. But then also, that would make Pommi thinking enough is enough. Don't want to spend the rest of my life, like, doesn't matter how old you are, you know, you're 20 years older than me in this scene, but then you're never too late to change. It doesn't matter if you're 70, don't want to spend the rest of my life dealing with
being bitter and
angry. And so we can discuss now and all the different ways we can empower ourselves and the changes we can make.
Because, you know, when you're aware, you know, of your self-abandonment, of all those negative emotions, which is what we mentioned, you know, anxiety, depression, exhaustion, chronic illness, jealousy, pains, envy, anger, then it's our duty and our responsibility to look at how we can change those for the positive for ourselves, because when we're happy, then everything outside of us can become happier. But if we're like, kende Punjabi ch kidda kende muh kidda bat ke bethiya, you know what I mean, the typical Indian kind of characters you get in the films who are just so mean and unkind. You know, if you want to carry on like that, then that's the choice. But if you want to change and become soft and kinder towards yourself first, then obviously things will get better. And what you've got to remember is, you know, not to feel bad and feel guilty or ashamed of your previous emotions or feelings, because that was a process that we all have to go through at some point. But it's more about feeling empowered and having the awareness.
And I can also realize that when the insecure Lajo, she couldn't make Pommi understand. Pommi is the way she was. So the old Lajo probably would even try to talk to Pommi, but she's so empowering. My responsibility wasn't to make her understand and make Pommi change. I thought, a responsibility that I needed to make the change in myself. I couldn't live the rest of my life thinking, oh, Pommi's so bitter, Pommi's jealous, Pommi doesn't like this about me. I'll be wasting my energy. So I let go of that and thinking, okay, the only way I can change my life now, I have a much more fulfilling, happier, and just such a fun life.
Joyful life as well.
Joyful, fun life, and much more laughter in my life, that I needed to make that change. I took my attention away from Pommi. Pommi is the way Pommi is. But once I changed, Pommi didn't change in my circumstances, but Pommi's behavior didn't trigger me and bother me as much. And that's the power of self, you know, inner work that we do when we change ourselves.
And that's where the empowerment comes in. Where you've just kind of decided, made a decision that, you know, I'm going to do what I want to do, which makes me happy. And that's where you're not abandoning yourself, and no matter what Pommi says, you're going to be the person that you want to be. You know, but love who you are from the inside and the outside.
See, I really do love Pommi. I love Pommi.
So this is also about where, you know, you create the world that you're around. If you're an angry, bitter, jealous, insecure, nasty, or whichever negative emotion you want to use, then that is the way people are going to be with you. And you know, we should never ever forget that. You know, what we give out is what we're going to get back, and it goes back to the mirror. I know we mention this quite a lot, but it's so important. समझनो भी जे तुसी किसी नू गुस्से ना बुलाओगे, वो भी थानू गुस्से ना बुलाओगे, क्योंकि अग ने कदे अग नहीं बुझाई हैगी. So एक नू ठंडा होना पैंदा जे दूजा गर्म है. So think about these kind of things. And also ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਥੋੜੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਸੋਚਣ ਲੱਗ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਕਾਤੇ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ, ਜਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਵੀ ਅਪਸੈਟ ਹਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਦੂਸਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅਪਸੈਟ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰੀ ਬਾਹਰਲੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਜੂਗੀ. ਸੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ टाइम दिया करो, प्यार करया करो अपने आप नू भी, हाँ भी मैं चंगी हाँ, मैं ट्राई करदी हाँ. यू नो हौली हौली फिर तुसी मान सकते हैं भी, यू नो मेरी लाइफ हैगी ठीक है, जिथे भी मैं हैगी मैं ठीक है महाराज दी कृपा दे नाल. सो यू नो उत्थे कंपैशनेट बनना पैंदा तुहानू अपने आप नू, कि अपने आप नू कहना नहीं कुछ, यू नो say negative things to yourself, and you know your mental diet is so important.
So all these things jo ho rahe sade fayde waste, we're here to learn about ourselves, and the most important relationship here we're here to learn is a bond with ourselves. And it's like this beautiful quote I was saying earlier on, it's a moment of self-compassion can change your entire day. A string of such moments can change the course of your whole life. So it means so when we get in this moment where we're feeling insecure, self-abandoning ourselves, this is a chance now to become very self-compassion. Be kind and sweet and lovely to yourself. And the more we do this, sari life hi badal jandi hai.
And this is also about connecting with your inner child. कि जे मेरे नाल इदां न्याणे हुंदे ते हो सकदा होया सीगा भी मैं हुण सियाणे, you know when you're older how can I change this, you know जिद्दां हुण कई वारी आपां बंदियां दी गल कर सकदे, we didn't mention this earlier, कि जदों छोटे हुंदे सी कहने भांडे भंन दित्ते, इदां कर दित्ते, उदां कर दित्ते, भी फिर जदों तुसीं सियाणे हुंदे आ जे कोई गल करदा आ and then you do the same thing, you can't, that's not a way of understanding what's actually really going on. So it is about going within and addressing those emotions, those feelings. The holi you can become a happier person if you do address all the things that once upon a time when you were a child did hurt and upset you, but it is important to address those things.
This is really nice to mention as well, because when we were a young child we did not know, we didn't have we couldn't conceptualize, because that part of our brain wasn't developed, the thinking part, to understand what was going on. So we didn't understand that if their needs weren't met outside, how to give it to ourselves. We didn't understand that. So because we didn't get an opportunity then, but then rest of our lives and mauka every time milta hai through when somebody mistreats us, we got chance to give to ourselves what we couldn't give when we were young. Because when thodi we brains developed enough, we got that soji now. So now when I get, like say Bummy triggered me, the old insecure lajo, I could go upstairs and cry. And I did probably, but I started saying like, how would that inner child in me, how would she comfort herself? She say to herself, it's okay, I'm here with you, I'm supporting you, you are beautiful, no matter what you look like, I'm always going to honor you, and you always look attractive and wonderful no matter what the people say. So that's why I'm being self and kind, compassion, that thought I'm having to myself. So I'm learning now at an adult time through the trigger how to treat myself and be nice to myself when I didn't know how to do when I was a young child. So that's all that's happening.
And then as a young child there was no way that you would have had the brain power that you've got now, or the research, so you can think about what's happening, what's causing me to feel like this, what can I do about this, because in any situation we all have a choice. We can either be a victim or we can be victorious, but it is always about choice, perspective, and all those kind of things. So you know, you celebrate your own qualities, whatever they are, you know, list them down, write them down, and think about what it is that you bring to the table. And then the second one was, you know, you could start journaling and thinking about how did all this this trauma or the hurt and that you experienced as a child. You know, how did it start? You know, what is it that I'm afraid of? If I do speak out, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Just remember, just write down, when did I start thinking other people's opinions mattered more? When did I start to believing that me saying anything is wrong? When did I start first thinking that crying is bad for you, expressing emotions bad for you? When did I start this? Just be out of curiosity. Don't dwell on it too much, but just write it out, thinking, when did I start doing this sort of behavior? And
this will help you get to the root cause of why you are the way you are. And it's all about opening yourself up to looking at it from an objective view, not necessarily as yourself even, but as somebody else, and then being kind and compassionate to that inner child of yourself. You know, you can stop with old beliefs, the patterns, the negative beliefs, replace it with positive, healthy thoughts. You know, if you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm this, nobody's ever going to care about me, nobody likes me, I'm not fun, I'm not this. You know, replace them with positive things. I am kind. Always think about the positive things about you as a human being, and that's what other people will recognize about you more and more.
But very aware that to key story bar you know, if the story is like, people are always out there to use me, they don't care what I say, no matter what I do, it's not enough. If you keep repeating this story, we create from the stories that we keep going on about all the time. So change your story and your life will change, and don't keep repeating words like, because words are energy as well. Don't keep saying, oh, I'm so tired, or I never look nice, no matter how much effort I make, nobody likes what I cook, nobody likes what I say. Be careful of these words, and they do end up manifesting and becoming our reality. So change your stories, break free from limiting beliefs, change it to like, everything works out for me, everything always is easy for me, people love what I say. And change it, you know, every story like, you know, it's easy for me to express my opinion, and when I express my people honor it and respect it. Change it to that, you know?
Because every time you're saying something negative to yourself, you're lowering your mood, you're lowering your body's chance to actually uplift you. So every time you're saying something that's not very nice to yourself, you've got to remember that you're just going deeper and deeper into a well where it's going to be difficult to come out of. So it's really, really important that your mental diet is positive, kind, compassionate, caring, all those things that you would be saying to somebody else if they felt that way. You know, I always think that if you're going to say something to yourself, say something that you would say to a really good friend of yours. Because you know you wouldn't be saying those sort of things to your friend.
I like to say, treat yourself how you want other people to treat you. So if you want other people to be nice to you and respect you, then you treat yourself first like that.
And it's important that every day you take time for self-care. Now, when we say self-care, ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ, you know, ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਖਾਣਾ ਬਣਾਓ, you know, ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ exercise ਕਰੋ, do fun hobbies, you know, playfulness, creativity, you know, wear clothes that make you feel good, no matter what they are, you know, look at what makes you happy, you know, do positive things within your mental diet, you know, your nighttime rituals where you might, you know, have a relaxing bath or do some meditation, whatever it is, listen to Bart, you know, celebrate your qualities. Don't look at what other people have got, because comparison is the thief of joy. I love that quote because I just think it's so true.
It is.
So, you know, don't look at what other people are doing, just look at what you can do and how you can make yourself happy, because that is what other people will see as well. You know, read empowering stories.
Those are very good, because I can't fall asleep. I have to listen to something very empowering, and I fall asleep listening to them. And honestly, it does. You wake up feeling very, very in a positive mindset. And fun hobbies, anything that makes you bring fun and playfulness, because remember the inner child in us, that child that became so serious from a young age, neglecting its own needs and becoming insecure, thinking I have to fulfill everybody else's needs, nobody would want me, nobody loves me. So the child forgot to play. That child in us, so we've got to bring the playfulness in it, because when we're playing more, we're more in the creative mind, and creativity is where we manifest things and that vibe. And I love, you know, it's important to dress up. You know, some people really feel so insecure, the self-abandonment, when they think that, oh, who's going to look at me? I don't care the way I look. You know, dress up, make yourself look smart, and
wear your best perfume.
Yeah, wear your best perfume. Because don't dress up for other people. Dress up for yourself, that you feel good, and not because you want other people to praise you. And if they do compliment you, receive it. Be okay to receive it, because you're worthy and deserving of receiving it. The people who cannot accept compliments, they usually come from a place of self-abandonment, because they don't feel worthy, or they don't feel good enough for a compliment. And you notice people, you do say, oh, this looks really nice, and they say, oh, no, kuch purana paisi. You can tell they're still not in the place of receiving, and then they're in the secure energy and self-abandonment. And but you know, compliments is a good sign to realize if you are coming from a place of receiving or not receiving. Yes.
So we're finishing off. We've got a couple more things to go. There's the thing which we call affirmations, which are positive things that you can say to yourself. So you can say things like, it is safe for me to exist. I am safe and secure in all areas of my life. It is so easy for me to express all my needs and desires. All my needs and desires are easily fulfilled. I am so loved, respected and understood for everyone. Now the conclusion that we're coming to.
Just before the conclusion, I'd just like to say that these affirmations, I always find it nice to write them out. You know, if you can write them out, put it somewhere where you can see them, or every night.
Read them daily, first thing in the morning.
So it's always safe for me, because the insecurity comes from where we feel we've learned from a young, everything's learned from childhood, that we felt it wasn't safe to exist, it wasn't safe to be ourselves. This world is very threatening and scary. You know, if not being loved, how am I going to survive? So it's so important. It's safe for me to exist. It's safe for me to exist. And repetition. Through repetition, the only way we can reprogram ourselves. Saying it once or twice is not enough. It's something that we've got to keep repetitively doing it day in, day out for the rest of our lives, and become normal habit for us.
So in conclusion, ultimately the soul lesson is sorry. I nearly said it.
Ultimately, the soul lesson is to come from self-abandonment to
self-connection.
Yes.
So we go within with self-love, and then you can fulfill yourself in order to fulfill others, and not the other way around, where you fulfill everybody else and you neglect yourself. That's where, you know, we should all try to be heading towards.
So it says to go from the inside out, not from the outside in. That's where we get it wrong. So once we fill ourselves with love and self-compassion, that's where the security comes. So we're going to finish off for today.
Yeah, we're going to do a quick joke.
No, we've got to finish. So I hope you enjoyed our show, The Love.
I thought we still got some more time.
No, I've only got a few seconds left, but thank you for, I hope you enjoyed our Lajo and Pommi.
Yes, we will be definitely bringing you more of that, but thank you very much for joining us on our Love, Laugh and Live show.
And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.